Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lizard and Cat Award Show. It's 1979, and we have watched all the 1979 films.
That we could get our hands on.
Of course, as usual. So we are here, and we're going to tell you about what we think is the best and the worst of it. I'm Sean.
I'm Tennille.
And...
You're the lizard. I'm the cat.
Yeah.
Let's get going.
Let's get into it. So... first and foremost, we want to tell you what movies we did watch this year. Obviously, if we ever come back to this year with other movies to watch, they will not be a part of this award show.
Right.
We'll only be talking about these 13 films. Tennille, take it away.
Yeah, not really a whole lot of films for this year, but first we watched the Nutcracker Fantasy from Japan, Taro the Dragon Boy from Japan, Foam Bath from
Hungary.
Prince Nezha's Nisha Triumph Against the Dragon King from China, Adventures of the Polar Cubs from Japan, Galaxy Express 999 from Japan, Aim for the Ace, also from Japan, The Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner movie from the US, Ubu et la Grande Guidouelle from France, Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro, The Little Convict from Australia, The Seven Brothers from Finland, and Johnny Destiny, Space Ninja from South Korea.
What a collection of movies.
I didn't realize until looking back over this list again, how many were from Japan.
Yeah, I guess that's a perfect segue. Let's go right into
stats.
Some of the stats. How many movies were from Japan, do you think?
Well, okay, I'm not looking at my list again, because I know you like me to guess at these, but I'm guessing about half of them?
That would be about correct, because there are 6. 6 of the 13 movies were from Japan.
Wow.
And then, do you know which country was in second?
No. None of them?
I mean, technically all of them, because no other country gave us more than one film this year.
I was trying to, is there one that gave us more than one? I don't...
Nope. Hungary. China, USA, France, Australia, Finland, and South Korea all gave us one film this year.
Wow.
I know. Japan took over this year.
They're taking over the world of animation.
They've been doing that from the start, essentially.
Yeah.
And it'll never stop.
Yeah.
It's just kind of surprising that we didn't get more...
Eat your heart out, Walt Disney.
American films, because usually we have at least 2.
Uh-huh.
But no, this year is 1. And it barely made the cut.
Yeah.
And won't make the cut going forward.
No.
But we'll talk about that in a later video.
I mean, we talk about that during our review of that movie. We don't want to be doing these compilations anymore.
So, along those lines, not along those lines at all, what am I talking about? Let's talk about what format these films were in. Like, what was traditional? What was other formats? Can you give me an idea of what forms of animation did we have this time around?
Other than Ubu being cut out, did we have... Well, no, I guess Seven Brothers was also cut out animation. So other than those two, I don't think any were done in anything other than traditional hand-drawn animation, right?
The Little Convict is half live action.
Yeah.
So it's like a 50-50 live action, traditionally drawn. And you've forgotten about the first movie we watched, which was Nutcracker Fantasy, which was definitely stop motion.
Oh, that's right. I've blocked a lot of that movie from my memory. I just remember it was bad. I forgot that it was stop motion.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, we still have, every year, we still have a handful of movies that aren't just traditional animation, which is nice. It's like we still get a couple here and there that are other formats. Surprisingly, we got 2 Papercraft this year, though.
Yeah, I mean, this year has probably been the most homogenous year we've had on AP for a while.
I guess. I mean, that might just be because a lot of it is all coming from the same country, so a lot of it is very...
It's following a lot of the same trends as what they've already done, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enough statistics. Let's start getting into our personal opinions.
Yeah.
Yay! So, first category that we like to talk about here is the best animated moments. What were some of the best specifically animated sections from any of these films? I have a number of different options that I want to talk about. So what do you want to talk about?
I found most of this year really forgettable, so I really only have a couple of things to talk about here.
Okay.
I really, of course, enjoyed Lupin III, Castle of Cagliostro's animation. Like, pretty much the whole movie could be put into this. If I have to pull out moments in particular that has stuck with me, the car chase at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, so good.
Is so good.
Just a fun time. The animation throughout the whole thing is great.
Uh-huh. Also, the rooftop scene, which we didn't talk about in our review a whole lot, but
like where he's running down the roof?
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, while we didn't talk about it a lot, we did mention it a couple of times, and I definitely showed it a couple of times.
It's so good.
Just, yeah, it's fantastic. Also, another moment from that movie that I want to specifically draw attention to is the very beginning of the movie when Lupin and Jigen are running with the bag of money and they're just leaping through the air.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was that moment that, like, I just knew.
You were in for a good time.
I knew the movie was going to be animated well, and it had been such a long time. It was so nice. It's just like, yes, this is animated beautifully. And I know that the rest of the movie is going to follow suit because this is within the first 30 seconds of the film.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, I don't think anything on this list is going to come close to the animation that was in that film.
No.
But
no. But like, I still have a couple other things I still think are pretty cool.
Yeah, I have one other thing on my list, and it's just Taro the Dragon Boy in general had really nice character animation for the main character. It's just really charming. A really charming movie in general that I think gets overlooked, but it had some really nice animation to it.
Absolutely. I wanted to highlight that one too. The part I wanted to talk about is like just the climax of that movie. The very visceral smashing the rock with the dragon.
Yeah.
Just like all of that, like while not perfect, it's just like you feel it happening, and like the water effects throughout that whole scene are very well done. So like I wanted to talk about just that. And
I guess while we're on this topic, this doesn't really qualify as a best animation moment. However, I do want to draw attention to Aim for the Aces editing. That is some of the nicest, like, editing work we've seen so far.
Yeah, I also
and, like, creative.
Yeah, I also had Aim for the Ace there for just, like, the panel sequences. And, like, it definitely was emulating how you would read it in a manga, where it's just, like, a bunch of panels, but, like, they're all animated at the same time and stuff. And there were some really cool elements of that.
Right, like, the composition and the editing is really neat.
Yes. One other thing I wanted to highlight was in Prince Nisha, just, like, not all of it was great, but, like, China's still not done a lot yet at this point. And when Nisha is just dancing and interacting with his ribbon, it always looks very pretty.
Yeah, it does.
So, like, that I just want to talk about. It's like watching him play with his ribbon and ring, and when he gets the spear, and it just has all of that going on at the same time. Mwah,
very good, yeah.
I don't have a lot of other animated moments I think were great. So I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
To Best Art Direction. What movies do we think looked really pretty but not necessarily in motion. Like, what was just pretty for the eyes as still frames?
So I have two, again, picked for this. And the first one is Lupin the Third, Castle of Cagliostro. Like, it's solid all around. What more could you ask for?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's very good.
But my other pick is Foam Bath.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it was very interesting to look at.
I'm assuming you have the same picks.
Yeah, that's actually my winner. I had 3 runners-up.
Ah.
Obviously, Lupin the Third was one of them because, like, of course, it looks really good. It's incredibly cohesive and well done.
Uh-huh.
Like, Foam Bath is my winner for this because it's such an interesting art style that I don't think we're going to see any other movie try to attempt this again.
Probably not.
Or if they do, it'll probably have about the same level of success, which was middling at best.
Maybe okay in its home country.
Yeah. But I also wanted to highlight Nisha and Ace again. Because Prince Nisha was also very cohesive. Like, definitely all about the, like, signature Chinese style.
Oh, yeah.
They always go for. It's incredibly cohesive. It looks very good for what it was going for. No element felt out of place there. It was very good. And Aim for the Ace is just beautifully illustrated.
Yeah, it really is. Like, on an art level, Aim for the Ace is really good. Which is weird to say because it's, like, not a really good movie. It's kind of just like I wouldn't be surprised if we found out at some point that it was just like a TV movie.
It's not.
But, like, it feels like a TV movie.
Well, that's because you're just relating it to the TV movies that we watched before, which were the volleyball ones.
Yeah.
Attack Number 1, which this is like an extension of that, but this one was specifically a movie. And I think that might just be why it took us off guard, because we expected worse and it was better than we thought.
Yeah, yeah. Just solid.
Yeah. There's multiple frames in that movie. It's just like, nah, that's a good illustration. I like that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Then we go into our genre categories for movies. This time around, we have comedies, fantasy/fairy tales, a classic one since the beginning of AP.
Never goes away.
Never goes away. Adventure, action-adventure, drama. Oh, and drama. That's it.
Just 4 categories this time around. We separated the movies into what we feel is best for those. You might disagree, and you might want those in different categories, and that's okay. But this is what we are going off of. And this time, we actually agreed.
I mean,
for the most part.
Drama could probably be cut, and we could probably technically squeeze some of these others into the other categories, but...
Yeah, I feel like those movies are still more so dramatic than any other...
Whatever, it's our award show. We do what we want.
Exactly. So let's start with the first one, comedy. We have 3 movies in the comedy section. We have the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie, Ubu, and Seven Brothers. So, what was your choice for this category?
Dude, I could not care less about any 3 of these movies, but if I had to pick one to watch again, it would be the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie.
Yeah.
Like, at least it's... Even if it's edited to heckin' back...
and, like, it ruins half the jokes. I didn't really care for any of these movies.
It's still, like, some good Looney Tunes shorts in there.
Like, I never want to touch Ubu again, and Seven Brothers was fine.
Seven Brothers is just so forgettable. Ubu is definitely my least favorite of these.
Yeah, easily. It was unpleasant to watch the whole way through.
Uncomfortable. I don't know what it was supposed to mean. It's... Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. Like, normally I highlight which movie I think is the best out of that category. I forgot to do that for this one. And I'm just like, it's obviously I skipped it because I couldn't figure out what I wanted. So let's go ahead and move on to fantasy fairy tale. We have 3 movies in this category as well.
Yeah.
Nutcracker Fantasy, Taro the Dragon Boy, and Prince Nisha's Triumph Against Dragon King.
For this one, this was another really easy pick. Well, I guess this was an easier pick for me for which one I enjoyed the most. And that's Taro the Dragon Boy.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a pretty straightforward, simple story about be nice and help people. And it was good. I enjoyed it.
Prince Nisha is honestly not that far behind it.
Like, there are a couple of traumatic scenes in there, but like, other than that, it was still also pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, Nutcracker Fantasy was just bad.
Yeah, I don't care about it. That was like,
bad way to start the year.
Bad way to start the year, and like, you gotta do stop motion just right, because otherwise it just comes off as horrible and creepy. Even
really
when
uncanny.
Even when you don't want it to be. Which is why, honestly, nowadays, most stop motion is intended to be more on the horror side, or at least unsettling and gross side.
That was
because it works well for the medium.
Yeah, that was like the smartest move. Nightmare Before Christmas, and then like the direction that they took for, you know, like Coraline and Paranorman. Like, that is so clever, using
the medium to help set the mood.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. That it just works so much well. The better there is something that's like vaguely creepy.
Which, you know, and this will be a little bit of a controversial opinion, why I think that their films like Missing Link don't, like, even though they've gotten so good at doing stop motion puppetry, that like you don't get that uncanny factor much anymore. I just think like the horror genre suits stop motion so well that, like, even though it's like their animation's so good, it still like just doesn't suit. Even films like their movie like Box Trolls like suits stop motion better than like Missing Link does.
They leaned into the ugly aesthetic.
Yeah.
And Missing Link doesn't. It just feels kind of washed out.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hot
takes.
That's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
We're talking about 79 films.
Action adventure?
Yeah, action adventure.
Take it away.
We have 4 films. It's our largest category, but not that that's any stretch, because there's not a lot of movies. Adventure of the Polar Cubs, Galaxy Express 39, Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro, and Johnny Destiny, Space Ninja.
What could the winner possibly be?
I don't know. What could it be? What is it?
Could it be Lupin? Could it be Lupin III again?
Yes!
Of course it is!
Did you watch the review last week? We loved this movie.
Like, it's probably the only movie from this year I will actually go back to. Spoilers for what my favorite movie of the year was. Lupin III Castle of Cagliostro was just such a treat of a film.
So
and it
good.
would be a treat no matter what the circumstances were. But after having to watch so many of these pretty, like, middling to bad movies from this year, it was a delight.
It was a delight. We saved the best for last. It was so good. So, yeah, Adventure of Polar Cubs, nobody watch it. Johnny Destiny, don't watch it. Galaxy 39, you might enjoy it, but we have some serious problems with it. You know, the whole...
Points at our hour-long review.
Yeah. Points at romantic mother-child relationships, which is gross.
Yeah.
Gross, to say the least. So we don't really have much else to say on that.
Yeah.
So, drama.
So, now, my question for you then is, which of those 3 movies was the worst? Johnny Destiny, Galaxy Express 39, or Adventures of the Polar Cubs? silence is very telling.
It's gotta be... I think I'm leaning towards Polar Cubs.
Yeah?
Polar Cubs for the fact that...
It's the least interesting.
Yeah, Polar Cubs and Johnny Destiny are the same level of... You
Bad.
watch it because the dubbing is terrible and the movie is poorly made.
Right, but Johnny
But of those
Destiny's
two, Johnny
dubbing is so bad that it's almost enjoyable.
Yeah, it's more enjoyable for its badness. Like, Polar Cubs is very close to it, but I think I would still say Johnny Destiny would be the one I would watch over Polar Cubs. Galaxy Express 3.9 is not terrible. It's mostly fine. It just kind of exists. It's nowhere good as Lupin, but it's definitely not as bad as the other two.
Right.
All right. What about you? Would you agree?
From a technical level, I would say that Johnny Destiny is the worst. Just like performance, animation, you add in the bootlegging elements of it.
Be realistic.
Onward! They're all movies I would not want to return to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Drama.
So, drama.
We have 3 films. Foam Bath, Aim for the Ace, and the Little Convict.
So this was another pretty easy pick for me. Aim for the Ace.
Yeah. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's a movie about a girl playing tennis and gets the crap beat out of her, which, isn't, like, great, but, like, it was still well animated and, like, more interesting and vaguely engaging compared to Foam Bath is, like...
Foam Bath is interesting.
Oh,
like,
it's interesting to watch, but I don't think it...
I would not subject people to it.
I would watch Aim for the Ace again.
Right.
I don't think I would watch Foam Bath again unless I'd be like, hey, you want to watch something weird?
Right. Like, you have friends over and you're like, I don't know what to do. And you're like, oh.
Time to scar my friends again.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would bring that out. The Little Convict is just boring and bad and teaches bad messages and tells false history. So,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No.
I don't like movies that
do that.
Tell history, but in a very, everything was fine and good.
Especially
and the
ones
oppressors
aimed
were
at
actually
kids.
good. Yeah.
Especially ones aimed at kids.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. There are other, much more recent films that I have serious issues with that do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot recommend that one ever.
Yeah.
That one is a bad movie. Don't watch it.
So then we have our worst of the worst. What was the worst film from 1979, Sean?
Well,
this was actually a really hard pick for me.
Honestly, yes.
And then I took a good, long, hard look at this and I was like, what was the worst experience? What was the film that I don't ever want to think about again? I don't ever want to talk about again. Like, even in a, like, haha, joking around with my friends kind of way.
Oh, I mean, there is one obvious answer, but I have 3 runners-up that I think are bad for other reasons that we've already briefly talked about.
Okay, why don't you talk about your runners-up?
The Little Convict. I just talked about why I think it's bad. It teaches bad history.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Destiny is just bad on every regard, but it's so bad, it's actually kind of enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Galaxy Express that is masquerading as a good film with bad morals inside it that a lot of people are going to miss on their first viewing. So,
yeah.
And we just have a personal, very big grievance with that film.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those are bad movies.
However,
Ubu is just gross.
Yeah.
It's
unpleasant to look at.
It's a high art papercraft movie where they're trying to be a super dark comedy, but like none of it makes any sense. And
plus, it's not in a language like obviously I want to say that the foreign element of the film does do it a little bit of a disservice because it's a parody. It's very likely that Sean and I can't aren't able to pick up on the jokes as well because it's in a language we're not familiar with.
Yeah, obviously any language pun jokes would just go right over our heads, so we have to rely on what seems like the pretty obvious joke of what's going on, and those don't work either.
Plus, this is it's a parody of Hamlet based on a play that, like, was made in, like, the 1800s.
It's like, why are people doing this still?
So outdated.
We've gotten a lot of animated movies like this where they're adaptations of plays that nobody liked to begin with, so we turned them into an animated movie.
Film.
And like, why did we do this?
Right.
This just keeps happening. And they're never good.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been one that I've been like, yes. Haha.
Well,
good stuff.
Okay, here's my big beef with it. Why would you use animation to adapt a play and not take larger art? Like, okay, Foam Bath is also based on a play.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing.
Right.
But it works better because they lean into the animation so much.
Right, but the animation doesn't really add anything to the story when you break it down.
Oh, no, it doesn't. So it still fails on that regard.
Right. So it's like, so instead you're just doing a play where it's just two people in a room talking to each other. And like, that's the show.
The only way to interest the audience is doing weird stuff with the animation.
Right. Which you can take like a symbolic meaning for all of that, which we did in the review. But, you know, it's just why? Why?
Yeah, don't watch Ubu. It's
not like, you know, take the other film that we really liked from this year, Prince Lupin, has a human cast.
Did you just say Prince Lupin?
Did I say Prince Lupin?
You just said Prince Lupin.
Sorry. Lupin the Third has an all-human cast. You could theoretically do a live-action Lupin movie, but why would you? The fun parts of watching a Lupin film is because it's animated to be more extreme than what it is. Why are you giving me that smile?
There are more than one live-action Lupin movies.
Okay, look, but nobody wants to watch those.
Probably not. Like, the second Lupin movie was actually... No. Okay, there was like a 15-minute theatrical short that we did not watch. And then there was a live-action Lupin movie. And then we have Mystery of Mamo. And now this movie, Lupin the Third, or like Castle of Cagliostro.
Plus, I'll bet you anything that the live-action adaptations of Lupin try their damnedest to somehow make live actors move and look more like animated characters.
Presumably, Japan has a long-running tradition of taking their animated products and turning them into live-action things.
Right. Like, I know about, like, the Phoenix Wright live action stuff. But again, from what I've seen of those, the actors are trying to act like animated characters.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a weird thing that they do that I'm assuming they do just because it's low budget.
Yeah.
Like they can do it for much lower budget than animating it because animation is expensive. It's just a fascinating thing to talk about. I have no actual real opinions on live action things other than I prefer animated.
Right.
Just full stop. So I've not watched really any of these live action things.
Yeah. Anyway, then we have our best of the best.
Yeah, let's we keep going on tangents this time. I mean, we always do.
We always do, and I just don't have a whole lot else to say about this year. That won't be said when we wrap up the 70s as a whole. Because, like, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to talking about the 70s. But 79? I don't know. We're just kind of
going through the steps. There's nothing here real special.
We're kind of ending the decade on a wet fart. I mean, like...
So, yeah, let's go ahead and end it off. The best of the best. What was the best movies and what was our favorite movies? Are they the same thing? Yes, obviously. It's Lupin the Third. What did you think was gonna win?
It's just Lupin the Third.
Lupin the Third was really good.
What do you want from us?
We've talked about it, how much we enjoyed it already. We talked about it for 48 minutes or something. And we've talked about it for probably another 5 to 10 during this review.
Did we mention Lupin the Third was our favorite movie from this year yet?
All right. Well, do you have any other movies that you would recommend people watch from this year?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
Like the other movies that we talked about, the other movies we gave awards to, they're fine. But if I was seriously going to recommend someone Lupin the Third Castle of Cagliostro and Taro the Dragon Boy in the same breath, someone shoot me.
I mean, you say that, and like, if you really want to check out some other movies from this year, they're obviously not going to be anywhere near as good as Lupin the Third, but Aim for the Ace and Taro the Dragon Boy would be my two choices as like runner-up movies. And I can't say one is better than the other. And they're definitely not like, wow, these blew me away or anything.
No, they're fine.
Because Lupin the Third is like a 9.8 out of 10.
Right.
Or something like that. It is really good.
And then Taro and Aim for the Ace are like
they're 7s.
Yeah.
They're solid movies.
Maybe a 6.5.
But like, they're better than everything else that came out this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Watch Lupin. It's on Netflix. You can get it for free-ish.
If you have it on Netflix. Yeah.
We have a Blu-ray. If somebody wants to hit us up, we can get it to
you. Make sure you have a 4K Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think
that's it.
That wraps up our 79 wrap-up and award show.
Now the real question will be: how will Lupin the Third fare against past winners of the 70s?
That's a good question, but we're not ready to wrap up the 70s because we haven't talked about the shorts. We haven't talked about the animated specials. We have not talked about the TV shows.
Oh, boy.
And we want to at least briefly mention all of those things. So join us back here next week as we cover television movies and shorts.
Yeah.
A brief handful of all of the 70s.
Oh my God.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
See the wind blow from